And we are, in fact, live.
Ooh.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 22A of Champions of the Colossus. This is the Guardians of Bonk group. It is, when we last left off, it was the 10th of Heat's Wrath at about 5:37 p.m. And the weather currently is scattered clouds, but mostly clear today. After crossing the border to Sperda and getting assigned travel papers, a treacherous journey awaited our Bonk boys as they slay griffins and elephants alike. After a couple days of traveling towards Sanvier, they finally reached their destination. And as I open up the page of... Nope, you didn't see that? Erase it from your mind. I opened up the wrong thing. Don't even
Actually
think about
didn't see it, so it's fine.
Don't even. Good. Now you're in a completely different place, but that's okay. I don't care. Where is it? There it is. Activate. Alright. I will read again what you guys see as you start making your way into the small village of Sanvier. You enter Sanvier, a small village occupied mostly of farmers and woodsmen. A small creek runs through and splits the village in half. Men and women working the fields you drive past look on in awe as you enter. It is obvious from the stairs that visitors do not come often, especially those of the non-human type. From what you can tell, a majority of the people are human, and they look on at you in curiosity. From the village, you can make out the misted grove, with some mountain peaks covering the background. Towards the center of town, you see a human hooded, hanging from the gallows. A wooden sign on his neck reads, in common language, for rape, murder, and flesh consumption. As you find a place off-road to park your wagon, a human woman dressed in leather armor and holding a simple bow approaches. Welcome, travelers. I'm Captain Huckabee, head of our humble militia. We welcome you. We don't have much in terms of trade, but we hope you see our tavern and inn as a hospitable place. She gestures to a larger building a little further down the road. Is there anything I can assist you with?
I don't remember why we were here. Hold on.
Brendeth would be in the back of the wagon.
Yeah, it
As
would be
usually
the
is.
two that have been chilling out in the front, Luronk and Koso.
Hold on.
We are here, and we've been tasked to
Yes, you are
Track-
here.
we are here to track down delegates from Colfeld.
I was sent to Raven that you guys would arrive. I assume you've heard about our issues. Come to the tavern. I'll get you guys all a round of drinks and talk to you about what's been going on. And she, her face looks a little more somber now that you've told her why you're here, as she leads you down to a place to park your wagon. It's not a stables, it's kind of just like an open field area. It's kind of muddy, and there doesn't seem anyone there to kind of attend to anything. But you see that there are other wagons and horses kind of just hooked up to posts near some troughs. What do you guys do?
I assume we follow them and hook the horse up and then go into the inn, or was it an inn or a tavern, to talk about the problems?
Oh, she gestured towards the tavern.
I will walk into the tavern with her.
Alright. I assume the rest of you would also follow. If you don't, please speak now.
Yep. I'll head
Go
in.
into the tavern.
Once we're parked, Brendeth will finally emerge from the back of the cart.
So this tavern, from the outside, actually just looks like a simple home. There's nothing too much on the outside that looks like it's any sort of shop, honestly. But as you open the door, you see large circular tables with men and women just sitting, enjoying a bite to eat and a drink. It's, it's evening time, the sun is starting to set, and they're all kind of settling down for the day. Captain Huckabee guides you over to a table big enough for the 5 of you. And as you guys sit yourselves down, she calls over to the bartender. Michael! 5 meads for the table. And the bartender makes quick work and brings over 5 tankards of mead. And he places them all down in front of you. Captain Huckabee takes a sip and says, before I start explaining, I just want to let you know that this is one of the strangest things I've ever seen happen in our village. We don't really get much visitors, and neither do we get much action. I'm kind of, our militia is typically used for finding lost sheep and whatnot. And she sits down and explains what's going on. She tells you guys that they've narrowed it down that this is a pattern that someone is doing, or these people are doing, to disappear. In this pattern, every 5 days, something has gone missing. Before, it was farm animals was taken. And people didn't really think too much about that because there are some beasts that live in the Misted Grove. They're really close to it. There's the wall keeping out anything from the forest. So maybe, just a wolf or something got to their animals. But then villagers started being taken every 5 days. She explains that so far 3 villagers have been taken. The most recent one, a 6-year-old girl named Jane. Huckabee has also sent 11 of her 22 men into the woods to search for missing villagers, but they also have gone missing without a trace or a raven. She says that the woods has been placed as off limits to the villagers, and she had reached out to other towns in hopes of assistance, but none of them seemed to be having the same problem as her, the ones that were also around the forest. And I understand there's 2 travelers, delegates from your country that passed through here, and they also have gone missing. The last person to go missing, of course, is little Jane. She's 6, blonde hair, brown eyes, and just wears common clothes, nothing too fancy. I think she was taken 3 days ago. So, if the pattern persists, we have 2 days until another person disappears. Also, I'd like you all to make me perception checks as you're, listening and looking around and doing general things. Nice. Thelonious, you got this.
I forgot to open my sheet.
Uh-oh.
Did you say that I was just trying to process everything? Did they go into the woods and then go missing, or do they get taken and they just think they were taken to the woods?
They got taken, and the militia assumed they got taken to the woods, and when the men went into the woods to search for the villagers, they also went missing.
Did the search parties go to any particular part of the grove to search?
We just kind of follow the path. It's Misted Grove is kind of a confusing place, in all honesty. It's a bit temperamental, if you can say that it's temperamental. It has many winding paths and branches, and it's really easy to get lost if you don't really know your way. Koso and Thelonious, you guys notice as you enter the establishment, and also as you're looking around, that there are lines of salt that were placed at the doorways and windowsills, and you see sage burning at some of the tables.
Are there any strange occurrences at the houses of the people that go missing?
I mean, I've investigated, so the people that gone missing, two of our of good, hardworking men. One, Mikael, he's kind of elderly, but no one really bothered him. His household, they're all heartbroken about how he's missing. Hubert was set to marry in a couple of weeks, and he disappeared. And then Jane, she's 6, and I don't think anybody in our household had any problems with her. How could you have problems with a child? And she seems to think for a bit, and then she finally shakes her head and says, "No, nothing strange."
Do they have anything in common with each other?
They're all citizens, except for, your delegates. Let's see. All of my people that were taken were human. And your people that were taken were an elf and a dwarf, so race isn't a thing. I don't know if they had any magical abilities. Not many of us are talented here.
Is there any way that we could investigate their dwellings to see if there's any trace or anything that we might notice?
She nods. Of course, that's what kind of why you're here. Here, let me just write you out a map. And she takes out a piece of paper and she starts drawing kind of a crudely drawn map of boxes for houses and the main road that kind of cuts through the village. And the map is not large at all, and she kind of circles the tavern and taps it and says, "Okay, we're located here. The house family, Mikael, is closest to the forest. Over here," and she circles that. The Dunn family, that's Hubert's. They're here. She circles, and his fiance lives over here, and she circles at the other end of the village. And Jane also was actually... Oh, wait. Jane was neighbors with Mikael. They, and she circles the house right next to it. They, babysat her every now and then. And then, she smiles and says, the delegates stayed here at the tavern and inn. So if you're going to investigate their disappearance, I would ask around here. Does that help you?
I do have a question. How long were the delegates here before they disappeared? This was not made clear to me before. Not that I recall.
Great. She nods to you, and she starts writing down dates. And let me just... I didn't write down dates myself, so give me 1 second.
As it turns out, I did all the things except for increase the number for my level.
Rip.
So I added health, speed. I added a Visage of the Astral Self. I just didn't change the 5 to 6.
Rip.
Well, it's a good thing, because it's a pretty small thing to fix.
True. Just gives you an extra hit die. That's it.
1 second. Alright, so she takes out another piece of paper, and she kind of writes dates down on it. And she gives you these dates, and names associated with it. She says, Samuel and Tomund, I think their names were one of the last to go missing. And then it was Jane, not too long ago.
How many of
good information? Thank you.
How many of your militia have gone missing in the woods?
She sighs and says, around 11 of them, about half of my militia, and they disappeared somewhere between Sam's disappearance and Tommen's disappearance. I don't know the exact date because they left a day or two after Samuel went in, and I don't know what happened to them. I sent my second in command out there. He's one of the best fighters we have, and yet they're still not back yet. I wonder if they're lost. And she, looks out the window at the forest.
What was this name again of your fighter that went out?
God damn it, you guys are shit. God damn it.
I had to tab back over to my notes, and by the time I got there, it was out of my brain.
No, I didn't say a name.
I think
I thought you said a name. If you didn't say a name, that's my bad. I thought I heard a name in there. That is my bad.
Second in command was Jim Highwater.
Of the Secret Society of Gyms.
How did you know?
So just a guess.
Oh, good old Jimothy Highweather.
Highwater.
Quick question: would I know why the salt and sage is there, or should I roll for that?
You can roll a religion check.
I was curious about if I might know, so can I do the same?
Okay.
Oh!
Jesus.
That's okay, I got a nice little 16.
Alright. With a 23, you're not entirely sure if this is related to a certain deity or anything like that. But you do know that there are some superstitions among the smaller villages you have gone to perform to regarding the supernatural, and in particular spirits, and how the supernatural cannot, cross over salt thresholds, and that sage can remove evil spirits from the vicinity. Koso with a 16, it's weird. You've burned sage because it's or you've seen people burn sage, and you've thought to yourself, that doesn't smell the best. Why are you doing this to scent up your house? So, unfortunately, Koso, you don't know too much about the true meaning behind it.
Damn, that's a high threshold considering Trevor only sort of knew what was going on with a nat 20.
Yeah.
Dang, that's okay.
very
Voodoo
mysterious.
magic. Voodoo magic.
Voodoo
Only
magic.
only the secret society of gems knows about Sage.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'll ask, I can't even remember her name already. I'm too busy with the Secret Society of Gems.
Huckabee.
Peggy. Oh, never mind.
Huckabee. I'll ask Huckabee. So, are you all afraid here that there's something supernatural going on with all this sage and the salt on the doors?
She, like, frowns and waves her hand dismissively. And she says, it's the older generation. They think that there's some ghosts coming to terrorize them and take them in the middle of the night. Well, we haven't heard of such disturbances, and we've been on guard every night. I'm not entirely sure if it is supernatural. I mean, maybe that's why we don't see anything. But, yeah, I don't really know if those even work, to be honest with you.
Do you hear anything?
I hear tons of things at night.
Well, anything out of the ordinary?
No, not really out of the ordinary. And she's going to rack her brain for a second. Yeah, I don't really have anything for you. I'm sorry.
Perhaps the next best thing we should do is check on the location where one of them was staying to see if we notice anything odd. Like you mentioned before, our delegates were staying here in this tavern, yes?
Yeah, I've had their rooms preserved, so we could investigate.
Do you mind if I head up right now?
Oh yeah, of course. And she
Perfect.
waves over the tavern keeper, who waddles over. You notice this person is the only dwarf that you've seen so far. Since coming here, and she comes over and takes out a brass circlet of a bunch of keys and plucks two off, and she holds them out to you. Roll me an insight check.
Insight check is on a different tab. There it is. Bam.
Woo!
I asked Brendeth to make me an insight check.
No.
Brendeth, she looks just really pale in the face as she's handing you these things, and then she waddles back to her spot and continues making drinks.
All right. Take note of that. And I'll head up to the rooms.
Alright. Is anyone going with our boy, Brendeth?
Yes, Koso will follow.
Alright. So Koso and Luronk are following Thelonious. What are you doing?
Can't hurt to go have as many eyes as possible.
Alright. You go up, and there are two rooms that the keys work on. The first room you open up, and it is a simple twin bedroom lodging with a chamber pot in-house and what seems to be a bucket of very cold and murky water. You guys can all roll perception checks as you look around this simple room.
Push the option.
Oh, wait.
Uh-oh.
Let's read this. Alright, well, I'll do it. Nice. Nice!
Alright, we're gonna start with the 6s. And just kind of, I'm gonna increase detail as we go. So Luronk and Thelonious, you take a gander around the room. You're looking around, trying to see if anything looks out of the ordinary. The bed is unmade and not really hastily tried to be made. And you can see that there is a sword propped against the side of the bed, sheathed. There is a very tattered backpack at the foot of the bed that seems to have been untouched. And you also notice that there are still shoes near the doorway. You do not notice if there are any other shoes. The window is slightly open, kind of cracked open. And the murky, cold water, doesn't really seem to have anything floating in it. Koso, with that 13, you try to dig a little deeper and look around the room to see if you can find anything of importance. And you open up the nightstand and you see a little piece of paper that looks similar to your little travel papers that you were given when crossing the border. And you see the familiar name of one of the delegates that you were tasked to go look for, Tommen Forgekeeper. You also find in this drawer a scroll that looks very similar to the scroll that you guys have. It is sealed, untouched, and undamaged. Brendeth, with your perception check, you try digging a little deeper. You see Koso looking through drawers, and you're like, I got a better idea. I'm going to, inspect the carpeting, and inspect the flooring, and the windows. Like, maybe something's up with the window. And you notice that there is a little drop of blood from an uncovered nail from the floorboards that spiked up through a sheepskin rug. And this blood starts leading a trail. You trace the trail. Alright. So you see these little spots of blood, and it looks like as whoever stepped on this, as they moved, their footprint kind of becomes more and more apparent, but like still kind of splotchy and not exactly a footprint. And the splotch goes up to the window. And you notice that there's a bigger pooling of blood at that spot. Not like alarmingly pooling, but like they sat there for a moment. And then you see the trail go straight for the door. And that's what you guys see in this room.
Sorry, pulled next to what? Taking notes.
It pooled at the window.
Pulled out the window, thank you.
And then and then you see the trail continue straight through the door. As you open the door to see if you can follow the trail further, you do not see anything, and it looks like one of the blood splotches that was at the threshold was wiped away, seemingly maybe by a broom or a mop.
This is interesting, I'll point it out to the others. It stops here, but I can tell that somebody stopped over here before they moved out the door. Very strange. Can I check the window in particular to see if that appears, like if there's any signs of forced entry, anything like that.
Sure, you can roll me an investigation check.
Damn.
My god, he's rolling high for this one. He's like Detective Brendeth on the case. So
It's his
Brendeth,
blood. He knows blood.
you are investigating this window, and you should note as you look out the window, you see the main trail, a good view of one of the entrances to the Misted Grove, as well as you're on the second floor. And it might be hard for somebody to come up on the second floor to force their way in.
That's fair.
You investigate the structural integrity of this window, and you notice that it's really hard to pull up and really hard to pull down. And that's probably why it was only cracked a little bit. There is no screen at this window. It is simply just a glass pane leading to the outside air.
All right. This is interesting. I mean, you'd think that if you stepped on something like this, like a nail sticking out, your first active business would not be to go and stare out the window for a bit. It would be to take care of the wound. That's very strange. I wonder why they did what they did. Perhaps they were not in the best frame of mind, so to speak. Also, it is not certain if this is the blood of one of our delegates or the blood of someone else. I don't know. It does not look like anyone came in through the window, but those are other possibilities.
I'm gonna go ask the innkeeper if, because it said that it seemed like one of the blood's bladders had been wiped up. If there was anyone working at the inn that.
Alright, do you leave without saying a word to your fellow team?
No, I say I'm gonna go talk to the innkeeper about the blood that was wiped up.
Okay. Do the rest of you follow, or do you continue investigating the next room?
Let's take a look in the next room.
Yeah, I'll move to the next.
Okay, so question first. What do you use insight checks for? Like, just like a couple of examples. Is that like to see if somebody's lying or things like that?
Insight is
Or
kind
like-
of to see what a person's true nature, true emotions is. Kind of like seeing if they're hiding anything, seeing if they are secretly happy, seeing if they believe what they're saying or if they're lying or telling the truth. So, I think it was Brendeth rolling that insight check was basically looking at her and seeing that she was paler than normal. Or like, 'cause she looked pale in the face.
Okay.
So whenever you want to like insight check someone, you get more of an insight of how they're feeling, if the words they're saying make sense or not, if their actions are making sense or not, etc. Am I explaining this right, Jordan?
Yeah. I was thinking about using Visage of the Astral Self for the first time, and I was trying to decide if it makes sense to just start fucking, like, having advantage on seeing if any of these people are lying, or like getting extra info.
You're fine to do that whenever you want. I cannot advise you otherwise. That is your own choice.
I'm just gonna use it for funsies because I want to use it. So go down to 3 key points. I'm gonna go with Luronk.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah, I think the only thing that matters right now is just that I can advantage.
Yeah, I was just reading the description. So you guys head downstairs. We'll start with you guys because that will be a little more quick. you guys head downstairs to the barkeep, and she looks up to you as you guys are significantly taller than her, and she goes, "Yes. Well, what do you need?"
We just wanted to ask you a question. We looked in Tommen's room, and there seems to have been blood that trailed out of the room and seemed to have been wiped up by something. I was wondering if there was anyone here who knew anything about that, or had any, give me the right word, any...
Insight?
No, like the...
Recollection.
Yeah, like they had an input in wiping it up.
She, her eyes are like wide already, and she looks over to Captain Huckabee, who's on their second tankard at this point at the table that you left her at, and she goes, "The captain didn't let me into the room. I do mop the floors every morning before the guests wake up. Did I ruin something for you?"
We were just wondering if you had seen it, or seen anything about it. Because it stops at the threshold of the door.
I'm sorry. I mop before the sun comes up, and I didn't notice anything. I was just trying to clean for my guests.
One more question from me. Did you notice any visitors to either of the delegates' rooms, or anyone you didn't immediately recognize as staying in the inn?
She blinks a couple times, and like furrows her brow and widens her eyes again. She's very expressive on her face, and goes, "Visitors? No. The delegates were. So I don't. No, that would be rude." And she like quiets down and kind of sinks into herself.
What would I roll if I want to see if anyone is looking injured and kind of favoring like one side of their body or the other? Like if they're, hurt.
That'd be a perception check.
Perception. Ding.
Alright. With that 16, you take a look around the room as this woman is speaking. And, you see men and women just kind of at tables together. And some of them get up to go and, refill their drinks. One of them even goes behind the counter and says, "Hey, Helgrit, just grabbing another pint," and pours himself a pint and then, like, throws a coin on the countertop. They all seem very casual. The ones that get up and walk don't seem to have a visible limp, or they also don't seem to be favoring one foot over the other.
Okay.
Now, ma'am, I know you wouldn't like to be rude, but there may be lives at stake, so...
Her eyes go wide when you say that.
Do you mind telling me what you were going to say?
Well, your delegates were not the most proper, to have. They were very loud at night. Very loud.
In what way? Did you hear arguing?
Well, I heard stomping. One of them was stomping around, and stomped all around the tavern. I sleep in the basement. I can hear everything. They were stomping everywhere, and the other one was yelling out the window in the middle of the night. It was very, very hard to sleep.
Interesting. That was not my character saying that. I'm gonna roll an insight check to see. For the main purpose of this is to see if she's really just has no idea what's going on, or if maybe she's still hiding something.
Give me 1 second.
Oh, that's not advantage. Hold on. Sorry. I totally forgot that I have advantage. There you go. 27.
Sheesh!
That was actually, yeah, we'll see what we say. I'm just gonna go back up to the room after this. So, well, unless it's extremely shocking that I managed to figure out.
As she's talking, you feel like she's holding back. It doesn't seem like she's lying to you or trying to be deceptive. It just seems like she's holding back.
So after her explaining that they were loud, I'm gonna ask her how she felt about the other 3 people that went missing.
Other people went missing? She blinks and goes, I guess that makes sense. Excuse me for a second. She starts to walk away towards the captain. She seems worried. Do you let her walk away, or do you like stop her, or do you just?
Koso's not going to do anything.
Okay.
In fact,
I'm gonna ask.
I was going to ask Luronk if he's okay to continue talking to her, and then go up to the second room with the other 2.
I will walk over to the captain with her as well. And I'm just gonna ask the captain if it's common knowledge what's happening.
Alright. So, do you get there before the woman, or like do you rush over to the Huckabee, or do you walk with the woman?
Kind of walk with her.
Alright. As this, older dwarven woman is walking with you, she seems to be fidgeting with her hands a lot, and also holding a necklace, and muttering words under her breath, but kind of intelligibly, and also you think in a different language, and as you guys both make it to Captain Huckabee, you both begin to speak at the same time, and then she quiets down, and you ask if this is common knowledge, and the captain almost chokes on her drink and goes, "Oh gosh, I forgot to tell you. No, it's a kind of only the immediate families have been told, and they've been told to kind of keep it quiet, just to not create too much of a disturbance. It is getting around though, like I'm sure a good amount of people have heard, and this is when you hear Helgrit kind of pipe up, and she goes, "Well, I didn't hear about it. How am I supposed to make sure everyone's okay if you don't tell me these things?" And Huckabee apologizes and kind of pats the old woman's head, and the old woman kind of like smacks off her hand.
I will apologize to them and say I will go inform the others that this is not common knowledge, so we can keep our voices down, and I will walk up to the second.
As you walk away, you see Helgrit talking worriedly to the captain, and you make out the first couple words of, I don't know why you didn't tell me. Who was it? Who was taken? And you go upstairs as the words sort of fade. Back to the other group. You guys have some individual time before Koso joins, and then you have another little bit of individual time before Luronk joins. So, Brendeth and Thelonious, you guys head over. Actually, across the hall is where the next key works. And you guys open this door, and it is a much larger room than the previous room. The bed is neatly made, and is a queen-sized bed. There is a empty chamber pot and a bath that has not yet been drawn. A sort of mat is placed in the middle of the room. It doesn't seem to be part of the aesthetic that was made for this room. And next to it is a bag of incense. There is a duffel bag filled with clothes, and the window is wide open. If you guys want to look around and gather more information, you guys can both roll me perception checks. God, Brendeth and Thelonious are fucking
On it.
They're like, we're solving this mystery tonight. So, Thelonious and Brendeth, you both rolled the same fucking number, and it's both a 21, so I'll just explain everything to you. So, you guys kind of look through the basic things. You look at the nightstand, and as you open it, you see a small prayer book to Enas, the god of life. And inside it, tucked in, kind of used as a bookmark, is the traveling papers that you were assigned, and the words on those say Samuel High Silver, that you know is the Elven delegate that was sent to Sperda. The incense that you find seem to have a stick removed from the bundle, as the bundle is a little bit loose, and you see some ashes still on the floor in front of this mat. As you are, looking around for signs of blood and maybe another nail, unfortunately that isn't really the case in this matter, and there doesn't seem to be any disturbances found. You go up to the window, and this is on the other side, so it doesn't really have a clear view of the main road, but instead has a view of the stables. And you see that it has a very clear view of an extravagant wagon that you did not see prior, with two horses that seem a little restless and still attached to this wagon. And that's all you see with your 21. At this point, Koso joins you.
Can I check this room for signs of forced entry as well? This is another measure.
Sure thing. Roll me another investigation check.
Sheesh.
She.
Number 27.
So as you're checking for signs of forced entry, the window is wide open, but it is on the second floor. It doesn't seem like it's probable that something would come in, and you don't notice any, damage to the window itself, nor do you notice any damage to the lock of the door. And there doesn't seem to be any signs of, fighting either.
Alright.
Can I check under that mat if it doesn't match anything?
There's a however to Brendeth's roll. As you look out the window, you see that this window is the window is kind of sticking out the roof, and the roof is slanted, and you see stuck to the gutter of this window is what looks like a piece of cloth.
Piece of cloth in the gutter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna do something I haven't done with this character yet, and I'm gonna climb out the window and walk directly up the wall to the gutter, using my climb speed, which only requires my feet to be touching the wall.
Nice. Thelonious, you can you lift up this mat to kind of investigate what's underneath. And as you do that, you just notice Brendeth go out the fucking window.
Yep.
We're gonna have to do just a quick triple take on that one.
Also, as you lift up the mat, you notice there is nothing of importance under the mat. It's just a simple wooden floor. Brendeth, you go up to this piece of cloth that's on the gutter as you're standing on top of the roof. A small child runs by and stares in awe as you're just standing on this fucking roof, but then continues to run off towards their friends.
Yeah. I walk up the wall as if gravity has just shifted for me. Like I'm just standing up, outright away from the wall, walking up it.
I fucking love it. So you get to this gutter, and you pick up this piece of cloth, and you notice it's pretty stuck on there. It looks like whatever left that there kind of got it stuck really good. And you see that this piece of cloth is of fine material. It seems to be probably made of some fine shirt or coat. And as you investigate a little bit further, you look down and you see that there is a sack of potatoes that is ripped open at the very bottom of, directly below where that cloth is.
But like beneath the gutter on the ground, or?
Yeah, on the ground.
Okay.
And
Sack of potatoes. Gotcha.
Yeah. And as you look around, you see that there are other sacks and crates around that area, but they are unopened and untorn.
Okay. Writing everything down. Ooh.
No, it's fine. This is an
All right.
investigation. You need to write everything down.
Strange that there would be a ripped open sack of potatoes there. I don't see anything else on the roof at the moment
Nope.
of note.
I mean, there's bird
All right.
poop.
I'll climb down and take a look at the sack of potatoes. See if it looks like it was torn open, by force of impact, or if it looks like somebody took like a knife to it or something.
It definitely doesn't look like someone took a knife to it. You can kind of put two and two together and think that there might have been a force of impact there on the potatoes. Some of the potatoes are in fact squished, and some of them are squished into the muddy ground itself.
So it looks like someone came off the roof to the potatoes for a soft landing.
As you are investigating these potatoes, Thelonious, what are you doing? Do you stick your head out the window?
A part of me just really wants to just keep watching Spider Elf.
Also, at this point, Koso, you are joining them.
Talk to the innkeep again.
I think that we've pretty much covered the room, so looking outside is probably the best option, regardless of the wall crawler.
Are you talking in character, or?
No.
Oh, okay. So Koso walks in and says, talk to the innkeep. I'm pretty sure she's still hiding something from us, but it doesn't seem that she's behind anything. Where's Bren?
Would you believe the roof?
I'm gonna casually walk over, stick my head out the window and look up, and sure enough, it's fucking on the roof.
So you see Brendeth on this roof, and then he starts to look like he's falling as he walks down the wall to get to the potatoes.
Oh, hello, Koso. Casually wave as I pass by.
Hey! I'm gonna tuck my head back in the room, look at Thelonious, and say, these things are starting to surprise me less and less.
I blame myself for being surprised with him.
And then I'll make my way out to whatever Brenda's doing outside.
All right. So you guys make your way out, and you bump into Luronk on the way out. Luronk's heading up, you guys are heading down, and then you all turn around and start heading out. Before you guys head out, Brendeth, as you are investigating these potatoes and bending down and trying to see if anything is amiss, you hear a loud call, and it says, "Hey you! What are you doing near those wagons?"
Oh, I am investigating very important things. I do not mean to touch the potatoes. They were like this when I found them.
You stand up and look behind you and do not see anybody.
Were they talking to Bren, or were they talking to somebody else and it was a commotion?
That's a good question.
I think they said wagons and not potatoes.
The rest of you at this point have opened the door and have come around the back of the tavern to where all the wagons are, and you find Brendeth with a sack of potatoes that's ripped open, and he's looking around curiously.
Oh, okay. So
these potatoes have come pre-mashed. Most of them.
Oh my gosh.
First thing Luronk is going to say...
Don't want to eat those.
Yes, I do not intend to take them, no.
The first thing Luronk is going to say to everyone is, these disappearances are not common knowledge, so...
Oh, I see.
You could practice restraint when talking to people. And so as not to alarm anyone that doesn't need it.
This is
so what's up with the
interesting.
potatoes?
Hold on. So, how secret are we talking here? I assume that the families of those taken could, obviously, that they must know.
Yes, after talking with the captain, the families and immediate families know about the disappearances, but they have been trying to keep it hushed, but word is getting around. So, it would probably be best if we, outsiders, were not the ones to spread it.
As you guys are speaking, the back door near the potatoes, this is kind of like what I'm imagining is like the tavern. The back door to this tavern opens, and you see Helgrit. And she's not really paying attention to you guys. I don't even think that she notices you when she opens the door. But she takes a bag of salt and starts sprinkling it at the doorway and begins closing the door once more.
I think this secrecy is potentially suspicious. Now, hear me out. I am a doctor by trade. I treat many different illnesses and injuries and such. And one thing I never do is lie to a patient about what is wrong with them. I tell them what they have, I tell them what we need to do, as they are well informed, and that way also they, if there's any chance that, they might do something to make it worse, they will know not to, because they know. I imagine these townspeople, if they knew that this was going on, perhaps they would walk around with more armaments or not go out alone, things like this. It would be much safer for the whole town.
I agree, but it is people disappearing from their homes, so it's not an issue of walking around. And you are more than welcome to talk to the captain. I just don't think that we should be the ones to spread it without...
I agree that we should not spread, but what I am saying is I am not suspicious of the captain. That is my gut, at least.
What is everybody's passive perception?
15.
Oh,
10.
yeah. Okay.
15.
As you guys are talking in this hushed tone, Helgrit comes, she opened the door and she pours that salt. And then you also see her through the window pouring salt on the windowsill as well. Though she doesn't seem to really notice you. And she waddles away. And you hear a loud thud as a barrel that was nearby falls over. And a little child, what seems to be a little boy, falls out with blonde hair, brown eyes, and looks on the verge of tears as they have fallen over and scuffed their knees, and also looks up at you. Hi.
Hello, my friend. I am trained medical professional. Would you like me to take a look at this? It is fortunate that you would have an accident with someone like me around.
Are you a bird person?
No, this is just mask. I wear this to protect myself.
From the monsters?
No, I just don't like things getting in my eyes.
Okay.
I work with alchemy sometimes to make potions. If things splash around, I must make sure my eyes are well protected.
What's alchemy?
I make potions.
And when you say that, his eyes perk up, and he goes, "Can you make a potion to make my sister come back?"
Make your sister come back. Oh, this is tricky business for potion. What was your sister's name?
Her name is Jane.
Oh, yes, Jane. I see. I have heard of this Jane.
She's my big sister. She's the coolest.
I tell you what. What is your name? I should ask. I know your sister is Jane.
My name is Harry.
Harry. Well, Harry, I don't have a potion to make your sister come back, but what I do have is a potion to make her knee feel better. And in the meantime, we, and I'll point to the whole group, will be working as hard as we possibly can on the other problem.
Are you gonna shoo the monsters away?
Yes, we will shoo the monsters away. What do you know about the monsters? I'll hand him a potion of healing as well if he'll accept it. This is a potion I made before.
He takes it with his two little hands, and he starts drinking it. And, the scuffs on his palms and his knees start to heal up. And he goes, "Thank you."
Oh, you're very welcome. This is what I do.
So, Jean and I like to play at the woods, because there's ducks over there, and I love ducks. And when I was playing there, I heard Mama, and so I went to go follow Mama, but then it got dark, and I got lost. But Jane was there, and she told me to go back, and that she'd find Mama.
I see.
Is it my fault?
No. It's the monster's fault. It's not your fault. Why would it be your fault?
Big monster. Mama says big monster got her.
Don't worry, so we take care of big monsters all the time. We took care of some earlier today, so will be no problem. We've got some.
Okay. You want to play with the ducks with me?
I would love to see the place that you played with the dogs, yes.
He stands up, wobbly, and at this point you notice his age. He's definitely of a kind of toddler age, 4 or 5 or so, and he waddles as he walks down the river. And he leads you to...
Perhaps, noticing just how young he is, perhaps we should speak with your parents. This may be advice. You wouldn't want them to worry about you wandering off in the woods all alone.
Yeah. The ducks are near the house. Go this way. And he just starts waddling down
Thank you.
by the river. Do all of you follow this little child?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Alright. You guys follow this little child as this little child waddles down the road, stopping occasionally to stick his hand in the water and just kind of smack it a couple times and go, "Fishy, fishy," and then look back, realize that you're following him, and then turn around and keep waddling. And as he gets to the house, you see a young woman on a rocking chair of this very small log cottage, and she looks up and smiles at the young boy. This woman also has blonde hair and brown eyes. Genetics, my god. And she goes, "Oh, Harry, did you get the medicine I asked for?" And Harry stops in his tracks and just goes, "I was playing hide and seek." And the mother puts her hand in her face, like, okay, why don't you get washed up for dinner? Who are these friends you brought?" And he just waddles forward towards the front door and he goes, "They're gonna get the monsters!" And he waddles into the house.
Nice.
Yes, hello, ma'am. We chanced upon your son in the town, and he wanted to lead us into the woods to see the ducks, the place that he goes to see the ducks in the woods. We are leading an investigation in the area, and we think that this location may be an important clue. There's a possibility of it, at least. Do you know the location of which he speaks, that we could head off in that direction?
The mother nods to you, but she kind of frowns, and she says, I want to let you guys know that I typically don't let my children in the woods. I know it's dangerous, and you're looking for my little girl, right? You're looking for Jane?
Indeed we are, ma'am.
Yes. The creek continues into a pond, a little bit at the edge of the forest, and I told them never to go past the pond, but I think little Jane wandered. And no matter how much I call for them, she's not... Sorry, I'm a little emotional right now.
It is understandable. Please take your time.
I know where it is. I can show you where it is. Just promise me that you'll bring my little girl home.
That is the reason why we are here, yes.
So straightforward and to the point. So she stands up and she wipes her hands on her apron and steps down to the path. And she leads you down, unless you guys don't follow her. She leads you down.
We all stay at the house.
See ya.
She leads you down the creek, and simultaneously turns her head and says, "Harry, make sure you close the door. Don't let anything in." And you hear it, "Okay." And as you get further and further away from the village, it's not too far, but you see the creek start to expand into a small pond, and you see some cute little brown ducks, kind of, and ducklings, circling the pond and diving in every once in a while for a fresh bite to eat. You see that about halfway around the pond, the trees start to form for the misted grove, and you see that a lot of these trees are large, thick redwoods. and are very tall. And she waves to the pond and says, I've already swam in there to see if somehow she went under. It's too shallow for that.
Thank you very much for leading us here. We will, look at our chat. Fuck you, Ryan. The middle of me trying to get out of sentence. Shit.
I'm sorry.
It's perfect. Okay, sorry. Thank you, ma'am, for leading us to this location. We will do our best to investigate this area now.
She nods to you, and then she reaches into one of her pockets and pulls out a bundle of sage. And she hands it to you and says, please be careful, I fear this is something beyond us.
Thank you for the warning, and for this as well.
Alright. You can add a bundle of sage to your inventory.
All of us?
No, just one.
Wow.
Brendeth was talking, so it's Brendeth.
I got it.
Alright. So, it is almost 7 p.m. The sun seems to be almost setting, and you guys face the Misted Grove. Do you enter now with the knowledge you know?
Do we enter what?
You enter now with the knowledge you currently know.
Sorry, I'm not sure what we are entering. What that you...
The Misted Grove.
The
Misted Grove, gotcha. Okay, I thought we were already in it because we were at the pond, but that's outside it?
It's
It's
like
at
right
the
at the edge
outskirts.
of it.
Right at the edge of it. Okay, I
Right
had
at
my
the edge.
mental picture wrong. Thank you. Brendeth doesn't see a reason why not.
Luronk says, I might want to rest up a little bit, since he's at half health.
Oh, if you are not feeling well, friend, I can take care of this.
What time of day is it? 1700. We could. Yeah, it's 5. Oh, 5.
Oh,
Right.
she said it was almost 7.
It's almost 7. I don't know what
Oh.
clock you're looking at.
I'm
The
looking
clock
at
doesn't move.
the clock, but I guess time has passed. I didn't hear the 7 o'clock part. Perhaps we should camp and leave at daybreak.
I mean, I suppose if it's getting too late, we could just head back to the tavern for now.
Yeah,
That's not
I don't think a camp is necessary in that case.
Why don't we're already here, so why not just like I can patch up Luronk and we can take at least a peek inside and take a look around before. I mean, time may be of the essence here. At least
Well,
for the most recently taken.
They
Based
said
on
it
the
was-
pattern, we've got 2 more days until something seems like it would go down again.
Indeed, I think we don't want to be too stingy
And I
with
think-
our time.
I think we might want to investigate that second house as well.
Indeed.
Because we've investigated the 2 rooms and we've talked to the mother, but we have one more house to...
2 more.
Or 2 more. 2 more houses to look at.
This
Perhaps
is true,
we-
but also this is the most recent position that someone was taken from. Might have the most fresh clues.
Hmm.
Brandon, taking a quick look.
Yeah, well, either way, Luronk, how's about I take a quick look at you? Where does it hurt?
Everywhere, because I got eaten.
He did in fact get eaten.
Okay. Well, for starters,
Mostly the chest, though, because I think it body slammed me before it ate me.
let's just start with one of these. For 20 points of healing from a very good roll on Cure Wounds. Holy shit. And there you go. Second level Cure Wounds.
I am 58 out of 69.
Okay. How many hit dice have you spent? Any?
0.
Alright, I'm gonna do field surgery. Which I don't know why that has a damage value. That's kind of weird. Right. That's the number of dice I can. Okay, so if you want to, you can roll up to 3 of your hit dice to add to your hit pool. Health pool as well. As if you took a short rest.
No, short rest.
Yeah, just don't click the actual take a rest button. You can also just click the hit dice button next to your health bar and just roll them from there as well.
It's a circle opposite of the rest one.
Yeah.
On your health bar.
It's 2 health, so I'll use 1 more.
Actually, you don't need to because
Oh,
your bonus is +3, mine's +5, mine substitutes yours, so you're full health with the.
I already
You're good.
skipped the second one. It's okay.
Yeah. Did you
You can
really
have it
want
back.
to roll for 2 health anyways? I mean, I don't remember how. I guess you get hit dice back pretty easily.
You get half of your total back on a long rest.
Yeah, so they're slightly hardish to get.
But if I need to heal you again later, might be good to have some more in the bank.
Okay, how do I add 1 back?
In the hit dice menu that you can open up by clicking it, you can just click plus. Add 1 back.
Plus. Okay.
Sick. Alright, so using a combination of stitches and magic, Brendeth patches up Luronk a bit. You should tell me earlier if you were not feeling well, my friend. I could have taken care of your wounds much earlier in the day.
You were kind of in a rush to get to the town.
This is understandable, yes.
Once we dealt with that pesky vine monster.
Indeed.
But now I am good to investigate the woods a little.
Yes, that is on me. I should have noticed that, I mean, it did eat you. That I should have realized that would probably injure you, but you're so tough, I just assumed you would be fine.
You just say he's drunk.
So now are there any objections to at least taking a look around in the immediate area? Looking for clues and such?
No.
Yeah, well, we're here, and so we can head back to the tavern, the rest up, and get an early start tomorrow.
That works for me.
So do you enter the Misted Grove with the knowledge you currently know?
I don't like the way you're asking that. But
It sounds like yes, unless Koso strongly dissents.
I already agreed with taking a peek.
Alright, cool.
cool.
That's unanimous then.
Uh-oh.
I mean, obviously, something cool is going to happen.
Just changing the soundtrack. I'm so crazed about it.
Well, whenever it goes quiet, it usually starts combat music.
No, I just wanted to change the soundtrack.
Ooh, it's the OG.
I didn't hear 500 dice start getting rolled. It's okay.
We went
That's
through
that's the way you really know. Oh!
Uh-oh.
We went through the RPG loading screen from the town soundtrack to the outdoor wild soundtrack real quick. That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that was
exactly.
definitely rolling for.
You had to ask about Nice, Thelonious.
What do you? I mean, I want to fight stuff. So personally, I'm excited.
All right. So
I mean, hey, if like a toddler could make its way out of here, then I think we'll be all right.
New famous last words.
We have no proof that toddler's alive.
It's like Brandeth is a 29 hit. Oh, and you take 63.
Did heal from a healing potion, which I don't think works. On
That's
that.
exactly what a ghost wants you to think.
That's true. You know what? You're right. You're right.
you enter the Misted Grove. which is populated with ancient redwoods that reach towards the heavens.
Hmm.
You begin climbing a rise in the terrain under a thickening forest canopy. The sun barely pokes through as it sets over the horizon you cannot see. You hear the branches of the giant trees creak as wind hits it. Twigs snap beneath your steps and rocks occasionally tumble, disrupted by your pace. The path, which is originally smooth as you begin your travels, thickens with boulders and exposed roots. How long are you guys choosing to travel?
I mean, I just wanted to take a look around the duck pond, like just inside the area here, look for tracks and things, any other signs of things.
Oh, you just want to look through around the duck pond.
Yeah, like
that is not what I mean when I say, do you go into the forest with the knowledge you know?
Oh, well, when I asked, can I look around the duck pond, you said, do you enter the forest, was your response, so I assumed.
It was
Sorry.
kind of confusing.
Miscommunication.
Smooth brain here. Don't mind me. You can, in fact, investigate the pond.
Yeah, I mean, some of the local area, too, I just assumed it was kind of partially in the
Sure.
forest.
My bad.
All good. English is a weird language. So if I'm looking around the area, what should I do?
If you're looking for tracks, something you can, follow, roll survival. If you're looking for evidence of something going wrong, roll for investigation. If you're just looking around to take a gander, roll for perception.
It's all of us.
Each will give you different results depending on what you roll.
If I'm proficient with both investigation and survival, can I potentially do both separately?
Yeah, it'll just take us more time.
I'm gonna investigate first. Oof.
Well,
Oh, so looking for like a struggle, that would be investigation, right?
yeah.
Luronk is gonna do that and then look to see if there are tracks, depending on how it goes.
Oh my god.
Hey. Nat
The
1,
plus
nat
8 nat 1s, the
So-
minus 1 nat 20s.
As I've said in the past, crits and crit fails do not matter when it comes to skill checks, so Brendeth, with your nat 1 equals 9 roll, we're taking that as a 9, and with
Yep.
a 9 you do not notice anything out of the ordinary as you're investigating the duck pond.
I just thought it was funny that the high bonus load roll and the low bonus rolled high.
No, it's hilarious. Luronk, with your 19, you circle around the duck pond, and you see that there are toys around the duck pond and, kind of in the pond, in the mud. They look like, just typical children's toys. There's a doll, there is a wooden horse, and then there's a little ball. But there doesn't seem to be any signs of a struggle, per se.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Brandeth's just looking at the ducks how do you feel about duck for dinner tonight?
Oh my god. Alright. So they're doing that. Before you guys roll your second checks, we're gonna have Koso and Thelonious tell me what they're doing.
Alright, I'll do a survival check.
You're looking for tracks.
Time for 10.
Oh my god. With a 21, you see human footprints. Bare feet. In the mud.
What size?
That is a good question. They are adult sized.
And where are they going?
They are going into the woods.
Into the thick of it.
Into the thick of it! Ugh. Koso, what do you do while everyone's investigating? Checking for tracks.
I don't even know if I'm good at survival. Well, I guess it is a wisdom skill. I'll do a survival check, see if I can find any tracks, but I guess in a different area from wherever Thelonious is looking. Oh, fuck. Four.
You see little duck prints around the pond.
Oh, that makes me happy.
There are ducks in the area.
That was what I was expecting to get on the survival roll with a +2, is that there are ducks.
Hey guys, I think there are ducks.
Quacking in the background.
I imagine it takes me a minute. I'm like, Quack, quack, quack. I wonder, anyways, yeah. Looks like I learned nothing, so... I mean, I didn't learn nothing, but I learned nothing useful.
Well, you look like you have found something, Thelonious. Can you point it out to me?
Take a look at these footprints, guys. I point out all the footprints in the mud.
Uh-huh.
None of these kids could have made these.
Well, these are far too large.
Luronk will also say there was also no sign of struggle, so... And they left all their kids' toys, which the two delegates seem to have left everything in their room as well. Kind of interesting to me.
Yes, this is interesting. I can't help but notice that one of our delegates ran off without his pair of shoes and had a bloody foot, and then there are, coincidentally, human adult-sized tracks here. I assume
Human-sized tracks.
yes, full-sized human, not mini human-sized tracks. Which I don't think this is necessarily... I mean, it could be coincidence, but, perhaps could be more to it than this.
I'm wondering if... Because that would... feel like there might be some kind of a struggle there, because they wouldn't... It just seems odd to me that there was no struggle in any of these rooms so far.
Yes. Well, the children...
It seems like they all knew where they were going, or they didn't have a choice in knowing where they were going.
Yes.
Is blood on the floor, not signs of a struggle?
There's the nail
sticking up.
I guess.
It appeared
I
that
mean,
someone stepped on a nail, unfortunately, for them. Probably our delegates.
that's pretty strange.
I
Maybe
do...
it doesn't indicate a fight, but that is very strange.
Yes, I agree.
Am I able to roll to see if I can see blood or some sort of a bandage in the footprints?
You're gonna have to.
What?
In mud,
roll
that's
me
gonna
a
be...
survival check, but that's gonna be a hard one. Yeah, no, you have no idea.
It has been many days since this delegate went missing. I doubt we would find that, unfortunately.
Well, I was going to say, because if they had some sort of a bandage on their foot, we would have seen it in the print.
Yes, this is what I had assumed back at the back at the tavern as well. But it looked like our delegate cracked his foot, ran to the window, and then immediately out the door. It did not look like he took time to bandage his foot or anything. It seemed like he was in quite a rush.
But I'm just thinking if it wasn't the delegate that caught his foot. Say there was something taking people, and it caught their foot, and they went to look to go out the window, but then decided to go out the door.
So the window seemed very difficult to open and close when I checked it, and it was on the second floor. I think... So there is one more piece that I've been trying to get out for a little bit here. Both of the children, or rather Harry, mentioned that he heard a voice that sounded like his mother calling to him from the woods. It sounded like Jane also heard this voice and went running into the woods after this voice. And myself, I heard a voice not long ago. It was very strange. I was out by the potatoes at the base of the tavern, and I heard a voice, and I turned around, and there was no one there. So let me paint the picture. Our delegate is in his room. The window is just cracked enough that he can hear through it, but he isn't. He can't open it to get through it, but he hears something important in the woods calling to him. He needs to go there now. It doesn't take time to put on his shoes. He pricks his foot. He gets blood everywhere. He runs into the woods through the same path that the children went down, leaving these barefooted tracks everywhere. It's not evidence, but so far everything fits in this picture, at least.
As you say that, what's the music I'm thinking of? Oh wait, no, that's way too epic.
Oh.
As you say that, Brendeth, you hear what almost sounds like a whisper that says, "Are you a bird person?"
No, I am not a bird person. I kind of just turn around and say.
And there's nobody around.
Did anyone else hear this, or do I look crazy just speaking to someone?
Did we hear it? Yeah, that's my question.
Yes, you can.
Can we... What would I do to identify if it was, like, exactly Harry's voice or not?
An insight check.
It's been way more than 10 minutes, so I'm not rolling an advantage. Still 23.
15.
Alright. With a 23, Koso, there seems to be something behind this voice. You can't put your tongue on it, but it's weird. And as you're sitting there thinking, that can't be right, like that doesn't exactly sound like this little kid's voice, you hear from behind yourself, "Harry! Be sure to close the door, don't let anything in."
I'm in awe. I think this is how Koso would be acting too. Koso's just gonna say nothing and look very concerned.
Am I able to use my divine sense?
I mean, yeah, you can do whatever you want, like, what do you mean? Give me the description for your design sense.
As an action, you can detect good and evil until the end of your next turn. You can sense anything affected by the hollow spell or know the location of any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet.
Alright, Ryan, I'm trying to wrap this up. Don't worry. Can you post that for me? Just so I can see it. Know the location of any celestial fiend or undead. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. So as you focus your senses to try and figure out, is this undead, is this a fiend, is this some sort of strange monster, nothing pops up in your senses. No locations are detected for you, you don't see anything, but as you're trying to focus, you see shadows running around, and you see very, very faintly deep in the woods things darting back and forth as if they're watching you too. And as you're watching, you hear another voice that says, What are you doing here? Do you need help? I'm coming right down. Just stay where you are. But you don't see anything.
Okay. I will tell the group what I have.
Oh, and
witnessed.
everybody hears that other sound, by the way.
Mhm.
All these sounds are audible to all of you.
I'm kind of sad because if my what is it called, Visage of the Astral Self was still active, I was gonna like yell, "Who's there?" with the 600-foot radius.
That'd be pretty
but
Do it
it's,
again if you got more people.
I do.
You can proc it again if you want.
That's a very, very large. That's like probably the entire town.
Honestly, though, you're gonna wake up everybody. Although it's only 7:40.
I want to know what happens. I'm gonna do it.
Alright.
So yeah, I will tell everyone that I am seeing figures running, but there is nothing that I can sense.
Everyone else, you also see these figures running. And as you, Koso, call out, what do you say?
Jeez, I don't know. I'll say, "Who's there? Show yourself." But this is fucking like. Unfortunately, nobody knows that I can do this yet, so it's going to be deafening to the party.
Alright. You bellow out with the force. Who's there? Show yourselves. And the movements in the forest stop. And it seems one at a time from all around you, you hear, "Who's there? Show yourself. Who's there? Show yourself. Who's there? Show yourself."
Okay, so it's specifically, and I'm stupid to not notice
And
this by now, but
it goes
Go ahead.
quiet. And you hear shouts from behind you in the village of, "Who's yelling over there? Keep it down!" And nothing repeats those words that you hear from the angry townsfolk as they're like, "Ooh, who's being super loud at almost 8 at night?" And yeah, you can cast a spell, Brendeth.
I cast aid on the other 3 members of the party.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's all. Just a real quick, but just in case.
He was ready for battle.
Everybody, increase your maximum hit points by 5,
ooh,
just in case.
for how long?
8 hours. So
Ooh.
basically, until we sleep.
So does my amount of health increase, or just
There's a plus max. If you enter 5 in there, it should just
oh,
Yeah, don't
should
add it
just
to
do
your,
it.
to your total, or you will
plus
get
max
confused.
5.
And then plus temp, right?
It is not temp. It is plus max.
Because it just said I was injured now.
Oh, you might have to heal yourself by 5 as well. Yes. So bring yourself up by however many.
I think it's do both.
Yeah,
Probably.
do plus max and plus your current hit points.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, so maybe I'm the last person to notice it because I'm dumb, but it's definitely only exact things that have been said. Like exactly what Harry said to Bran, exactly what we've heard his mom say to him, exactly what I said. There's been nothing. Or what did Bran hear before? I think I missed that. Like when we first arrived to the area.
He
Get away
heard,
from the wagons and
like,
stuff.
what are you doing near those wagons?
Oh, we're talking about that.
Yeah. And then you guys also heard a phrase you haven't heard before, which was, "What are you doing here? Are you okay? I'll be right down. Stay right there."
Okay. But I guess it still doesn't technically rule out my theory because it could have been things that whatever this is heard when we weren't around.
Yeah. Do you guys continue investigating tonight? It is 7:45 p.m. and the sun has almost completely set, and the woods seems even darker than before.
After seeing this, I believe we should take a closer look, yes. What do you all think?
Probably should figure out at a different time based on what time it is.
Perhaps.
I would say, after seeing those figures dancing, we might want to at least look into something.
We might want to, make some other preparations considering what's going on. Kind of regroup.
Alright.
Because
So I guess I'll ask for majority vote for the last time of this session since Koso has to leave. Do you all enter the Misted Grove knowing the information you have now?
I vote yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I am afraid no ghosts.
Alright. You guys step forward into the darkening Misted Grove, and that is where we will pick up next time.